What is up, Arrow fans? It's Tim here, and I have just finished watching the Season 2 finale of Arrow titled Unthinkable. And I gotta say, it was pretty thinkable. I mean, it did have a few turns which I wasn't expecting, which I'm happy that things happen. Like, I'm not gonna give any spoilers right away. I give this episode a 9 out of 10. It was a good season finale. There are a few things that got me really excited for the next season. The next season is, at least from the creators, supposedly going to be it's like an Arrow relaunch. And when they made by relaunch, it's kind of like imagine now there's reboots. So imagine it's kind of just like it's a new fresh slate for Arrow. Like, the first part of his years as Arrow kind of ended, and this is the ending. It's basically the end of the beginning, or it's the end. Yes, it is the end of the beginning. So it deserves a 9 out of 10. It was pretty good. But now I'm going to get into the spoilers. So, of course, Slade Wilson. Hold on. Spoiler alert. Slade Wilson does not die. He is injected with the cure, and he's put into a Argus facility, which is on the same island that Arrow was on. Stephanie and Mel, he's on the same island Oliver was on. The Argus is actually using that island as a prison, underground prisoner type of thing and everything like that. So obviously that island is actually getting used now. Like, it's people kind of know it's there after the whole, I guess, Oliver, went on the island and everything, and things started getting connected very soon. We realized that Oliver was not on that island for 5 years, which I mean, I kind of was expecting that. I didn't think they were going to be on the island for 5 years. I mean, they obviously had to do something different, and the whole flashback thing it's awesome. Like, I love the whole flashback. Like, when we got the Slade Wilson boss fight, we all know that we were getting a flashback of Slade Wilson 2. Basically, the Slade Wilson part of the island, I would say the island is going to be breaking up into 2 parts. We got the island part, then now we have Hong Kong, and then I bet you part 3 is going to have something different. And I would like to say the first section of, the Slade Wilson storyline, how Arrow kind of became who he is finished. And we realized that Oliver was actually, after, kind of defeating Slade for the first time, was transported to Hong Kong by Amanda Waller. That's kind of how they... sorry about that, Bert. That's kind of how they knew each other before, which is pretty interesting because, now we're going to be getting more to Argus and the Suicide Squad, and that explains how Argus actually knew about this island and had this whole, prisoner place, place with the prisoners and everything. That's how we knew that, okay, how did Argus know about this island? That's because Argus saved Oliver after, the ship blew up and everything and brought him to Hong Kong. So I guess as that happened, they abused the island by putting all their prisoners there. And of course, we know that Slade Wilson is there now. I'm going to have a future video on, I think, the future Deathstroke, but what the gist is, what I think is going to happen with Deathstroke is he's not going to be brought back in for a long time. I mean, there's no need for him to get brought back anytime soon. If he's going to get brought back, it will be completely different, and it's going to be pretty cool. And how I think they should do that is... Okay, so the real origin of Deathstroke is he was actually a failed military experiment which gave him his powers. So now that we got the Flash and maybe the Miracle was basically just giving him his desires and pulling it away. So my guess is that Argus, Star Labs, they're going to find some reason to try a military experiment on Deathstroke. It's gonna fail. People are gonna think he's dead, or probably not that, but people are gonna be like, oh my god, it failed. Next thing you know, he's a superhuman again, but this time stronger. He's not the Miracle. He's a little bit more invincible. He's kind of like this Deathstroke you saw in Batman Arkham Origins, or the Deathstroke you kind of think and the Deathstroke that's can probably pick up a car, a little bit more stronger than usual, and he's a superhuman, basically. I mean, it's the Deathstroke that had a failed military experiment, and now that he's tracked by Argus, it kind of can fall under that line and make sense. So we do know that the 3rd season's going to pick off with, of course, we got, actually, big news here, Mr. Lance, or, Sarah and her father and everything, died, actually. I mean, I'm pretty sure Laurel's father's died. I mean, Laurel and her father, they were walking by the pier once they sent off Sarah to go to the League of Assassins, which also happened. A lot of stuff happened in this episode. I'm sorry just blabbing on. But, yeah, so Mr. Lance is dead. My guess is, we didn't really get to see him die, so I hope he doesn't die. I really like Mr. Lance. I think he's kind of like the Commissioner Gordon of Arrow, which, I mean, obviously Arrow takes a huge aspect of, like, you know, Batman into it, kind of like you got the Arrow Cave, the Bat Cave, and everything. So pretty much to go on to that section, we know that Sarah is with the League of Assassins, so she'll come back, and we kind of got a little hint on, you know, Laurel becoming Black Canary. We know that Sarah gave her the coat, and it's like, you know, you look good in this, blah blah blah. You know, she is a lesbian and everything. But so she's with the League of Assassins. I don't think we're gonna be seeing a lot of her. I mean, I kind of, it's just like, okay, so Oliver and Sarah are done. And one big thing about the whole controversy is everyone's like, oh my god, wait, Oliver likes Felicity? No, that was just a whole distraction to, you know, give Deathstroke that whole cure and everything. And it worked out pretty well. So my guess is when we return, we'll get Arrow, Felicity, Team Arrow, and we'll have Diggle, and probably Diggle and his wife. I'm guessing they're going to get married because they have a kid. My guess is Diggle will be a little bit absent. I don't know if they're going to be skipping time. My guess is they're going to be skipping like a few months, so maybe my guess is Diggle, around the first half of the season, his boy will be born and everything, and that's not tied into the comics at all because Diggle isn't even a character. So whatever they do with this baby, it's hopefully gonna be pretty interesting. I mean, if they go to season 10, this kid could be like 8 years old. Maybe he could be like a sidekick, you know. But big futures can happen for that. Maybe they could do something really sad. The baby could die, and they don't really do that on TV that often, but that would be pretty dramatic and everything. But that's also happened, and one thing I wanted to mention is we know that there are 2 Arrow Caves, one that Oliver just didn't feel like mentioning to anybody because it was kind of like his alone place, and I really hope that, you know, that he has to get Queen consolidated back into his arms. My hope is that that Arrow Cave we saw, the second one, is the new Arrow Cave because it looked a lot more secure. Like the one we have now is like, dude, it's literally just a basement under a bar. This new one was kind of like a hidden actual cave, and it looked more Arrow-like to me. So that's my hope. That's like what I guess is, like, you know, gonna happen. Hopefully that whole bar and scene and everything, like, I hope that's probably not even gonna happen anymore, because we do know, back onto another topic that happened this episode, is that Thea Queen chose Malcolm Merlyn over her little boyfriend, Red Arrow type of whatever you want to call him, and that was pretty dramatic. I'm pretty happy that happened, because now we have pretty much the Team Arrow consists of Green Arrow, Red Arrow, obviously Roy Harper, Felicity, and Diggle. Those 4 people, I hope it's just the core. I really don't like when things get bundled up and mixed up and everything. I like to keep it nice and neat, and I'm glad that Roy Harper pretty much, obviously, he's going to choose to be Red Arrow. Hopefully he gets a full-on costume soon, and I hope he gets his red arrows. Like, I hope they get on the news, say, oh, the vigilante, like, and my guess is that the vigilante, hopefully that's over. That really wasn't stated yet, because, like, all the cops at the end sort of, like, took in the vigilante. I'm kind of waiting. It is season 3. I'm hoping season 3 is a transition between vigilante to superhero. Okay, now we have the 2 heroes on the streets. Like, I mean, my guess is once the Flash is introduced, they're just gonna be like, okay, the world, like, in the world of Arrow and Flash, they gotta be like, okay, these are no longer vigilantes, these are heroes. They're not just heroes, they are superheroes. So hopefully that transition from vigilante to hero to superhero is, you know, brought up in Flash Season 1 and Arrow Season 3, which are obviously going to be connected, and I'm going to have a separate video on my thoughts on the whole Flash thing soon, but I'm not going to talk about that anyway. So, of course, we know that Thea Queen chose Malcolm Merlyn, which is, I'm pretty sure, the last thing that happened in this episode. Last thing I'm going to be talking about. What's going to be going on with that? Wow, I really don't know. Like, I mean, Thea Queen in the comics, I haven't really picked out my comics recently on Green Arrow. I actually do have on my pull list. I don't know what's going on with Thea Queen. Like, I really don't know anything about that. I'm pretty sure that nothing with Thea Queen and Malcolm Merlyn has happened big in the comics, so whatever they're going to do will probably not be too much influence on the comics. It's going to be their own thing. If they bring Malcolm Merlyn back, which they probably will, I really do like the character. I really don't know. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, Malcolm Merlyn's dead, and I mean, I kind of said in my video, like a previous video, is he really dead? And of course he wasn't. Like, what? He took 2 bullets to the chest? I mean, of course, he probably had, like, you can tell that whenever, one thing I really like about the Dark Archer is whenever he has his armor on, he looks so bulky and like in a good way. Like when I see Green Arrow's costume, I don't really like it. Like when you see Black Black Arrow's costume, or Black Dark Archer, he kind of has like, it looks like he has like a bulletproof vest. It looks like he has some padding, almost like an armor feel to it, and it just looks more superhero to me for some reason. Like I feel like when I see like Oliver Queen's like Arrow like mask and everything, it's just like I feel like I just wish they made it more like in the comics. It's kind of like he got the goatee going, he's got the whole suit. Like I hope like in the next season they literally change his suit. Like I wouldn't mind if his suit was bulkier, he held like twice as much arrows, he had maybe throwing knives like attached to the side, like a belt of throwing knives, just so he looks more like prepared going into battle. So like the things that he does just seems a little bit more realistic and understandable, but that's just going a little bit more in depth. I always think about that every episode. I'm like, what if he looked different, more superhero like? So anyway, that's pretty much my complete overall synopsis and review of this episode of Arrow. I really did enjoy it. I'm excited to see what we're going to be seeing next. The little flash preview we got was pretty exciting. I'm really excited to see the full trailer, which we're going to be seeing I think next week or so. So hopefully when that comes out, I can upload it on my channel without getting a copyright strike. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I want to hear your review in the comment section down below. And if you want me to do more topic videos and news updates, what am I saying, on Arrow Season 3 and Flash Season 1, then click that like button in the description box down below. Thank you guys for watching. Do over to comment, like, and subscribe, and peace out.